queer is such like an umbrella term that I use it a lot when talking about most things in my life, because I don't really fit in a lot of specific boxes. And so having an umbrella term tends to fit me better, just because I kind of like fluctuate between so many different specific identifiers that I don't really know if I can claim any of them. And when I came out in high school, I knew that I wasn't gay, but I also was like, I don't know if I'm bi, and those were the only two things that you could be. And so I use queer a lot when referencing younger me, because there was a lot of confusion with what I identified as. And so it kind of, it fits better back then as well, even though I know I wouldn't call myself queer back then.
I don't like it. Yeah, because I was brought up that was a bad word.
Yeah.
You know, so in the 80s, yeah, that it's so yeah, in my head, you know, it's I mean, and it's odd. The word queer means odd. So yeah, to me it just resonates with a taunting word that you grow up with, and it describes as being odd, even though some people describe themselves as that way. And I'm a bit conservative in my kind of thinking and the way I do. I'm liberal socially, but I'm also kind of conservative too. And to me, that's opens it up to a whole bunch of interpretations that people can take the wrong way.
Other than television, like, other than television, naming, like, you know, either in an insult, calling somebody queer, or when that show, The Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, first came out, like I would see the host and I'd be like, okay, that's queer, okay, got it. And it almost matched up with the insults that you would see in like movies where, you know, some character would be like, you know, condemned queer, like, and I'm like, got it. I think I see what America deems queer. So I met this friend named Erica. Well, fast forward like 3 years in, and Erica kind of starts to change like their appearance more and more. And they become more and more kind of, you know, dressed like me, which was like a masculine kind of presentation. And 2 more years later, I was under the impression that Erica preferred to be referred to they and them, and that they shortened it and started going by EJ, and that they identified as queer. And so they would constantly use this word queer. And I'm like, well, now I'm perplexed again. I'm like, I thought, you know, queer as in the guy on the television or the character in the movie, and now here my friend is saying like, you know, identify as queer. And yep, I still haven't gotten to the bottom of everything, but that was my first experience, and that was just not too long ago. That's been within like the last 6 years that, again, queer is now part of my vocabulary, but I do not understand it, so I don't use it often.
It's nuanced. Well, to me, like, and I would say that this is based on my experience and my own definitions, as well as like having been a student of a lot of these frameworks over the past years, is like, to me, how I define lesbian is, you know, a female-bodied person who is attracted to romantically or otherwise another female-bodied person. And for a queer person, or exclusively to other female-bodied people for lesbian. And as a queer person, I'm defining that as, you know, any, you know, male or female bodied person that's attracted to any sort of composition of male or female bodied people, or other people that are choosing other forms of gender expression. So that's kind of the difference for me in that.
Queer is a more encompassing term. Like, I like the idea of it unifying, you know, people of different sexual identities, people of different gender identities. I think that in numbers we are able to get more done and help more people. I definitely don't, obviously there can be rifts in different communities, but like I really like the idea of having this queer community that we can all support each other. We all have these things in common. We can all help each other in different ways. Term that includes people from all different walks of life who have gone through a similar experience when it comes to gender and sexual identity. It's that feeling when like you go out of town or you go visit family or whatever and you're around a bunch of straight people and you never realized how different it was being around a bunch of straight people until you are around a bunch of straight people who like definitely don't identify as queer at all, and you're like, oh wow, this feels weird, this feels really weird. And then you come back home and like you're around, your next door neighbor is gay, and like 2 doors down there's like this non-binary couple, and like over here is like the old lesbians who have lived in the same corner for 50 years, and like you feel so much better and so much safer, and like you can actually have a conversation with these people and they understand where you're coming from. I think that's what queerness is for me, is like that semi-shared experience.